Let's now begin with a scandal that is rocking the U.S. Trump administration. This is a Financial Times report has alleged that a broker linked to the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth explored a major investment in defense companies just ahead of the Iran conflict, raising concerns due to his role in shaping policy. The investment ultimately did not go through, but the timing has triggered scrutiny over a potential conflict of interest. The Pentagon has strongly denied these claims. This Pentagon spokesperson, Sean Parnell, called the report false and fabricated. He's also stated that neither Hegseth nor his representatives contacted BlackRock, the asset manager, and have demanded a retraction of the Financial Times report. The controversy comes days after the U.S. president reportedly blamed Pete Hegseth for escalating tensions towards the war. Officials maintain that Hegseth and the department are committed to strict ethical standards. Before we bring you some more perspective, do remember that the U.S. president himself has been pointing fingers within his own camp. This including the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth. He says it was Hegseth who first pushed for military action against Iran. Listen into what the U.S. president is saying. "I called Pete, I called General Kane, I called a lot of our great people. We have great people and I said, let's talk. We got a problem in the Middle East. We have a country known as Iran that for 47 years has been just a purveyor of terror and they're very close to having a nuclear weapon. We can keep going and get that 50,000 up to 55 and 60 is no end, or we can take a stop and make a little journey into the Middle East and eliminate a big problem. And Pete, I think you were the first one to speak up and you said, let's do it because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon. So we are now having really good discussions." They started, all right, can the U.S. president actually have good discussions? This when there are reports indicating that there is vested interest, there is a possible conflict of interest which was involved. Remember, because you're looking at major defense manufacturers like RTX, you're also looking at Lockheed Martin, you're also looking at Northrop Grumman. But what is it that the Financial Times report is indicating? Let's quickly find out the details and the highlights of this report, which has already led to a scandal within the Trump administration. And to share those details, I'm joined in by Saddam. So that remember, this comes at a time when the U.S. president himself has been talking about how it was at the behest of Hags that the war happened. Well, that's right. So there were two occasions where you remember all this entire U.S. media talking about that, who decided that Iran is an imminent threat for the United States. Then this whole debate started after the counterterrorism unit chief resigned, citing the Iran conflict, and wrote in his letter that Iran was never the imminent threat. So this entire debate started. So at that point in time, Tulsi Gabbard said that we provided intelligence, but it was president who ultimately has to decide whether the threat is imminent or not. After which there was twice Pete Hegseth who was kind of held responsible for this war on Iran. So once President Trump said there is what Pete was who convinced him. Then the second time he pointed fingers at Pete that some people in my administration may be disappointed me announcing that the war is over, etc. etc. And he was pointing fingers at Pete Hegseth. So now his role is very, very critical as far as this conflict is concerned. He is leading the entire war narrative from the front, doing a lot of briefings. Now this report perhaps saying that his brokers were in touch with BlackRock to invest money in the defense company's ETF ahead of the conflict, perhaps definitely is a fresh new controversy. The Pentagon of course has vehemently actually dismissed these claims by the Financial Times report. Well, what according to the report is the reason why this investment didn't fall through? Yeah, so this investment never took place. The brokers in Morgan Stanley reached out to the BlackRock. Now Kangsha, let's wait for a few more hours because we could expect Pete Hegseth to be taking questions from the journalist directly. He is apparently going to hold press briefing perhaps where he will issue clarification. The Pentagon has already come up with a response saying that these are false and fabricated story, etc. etc. So let's wait for a few more hours. Pete Hegseth will come up with a response, but sensational claims over there being made by this Financial Times report. What is it indicating? It's also going on to say that it was Pete, he said, broker which actually contacted BlackRock, as we all know that is a significant asset manager, but